Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Futurama, Season 2, Episode 19 of my show, which is also going to be about Episode 19. Now Episode 19 is known as Mother's Day, but before I actually start talking about the actual episode, I just want to mention, this is the second last episode for Season 2, so I'm probably going to put that in the description for this video and stuff. But anyway, enough getting off topic. The way this episode first starts off is basically what happens is, as the name of the episode states, it's Mother's Day in the episode. Now, in this case, the Mother's Day that it's referring to is the time when robots get together with their creator, Mom's Friendly Robot Company, and exchange them gifts. And then and it's funny, the thing is, in the commercial, the Destructor robot, oh my god, I'm sorry, this is just hilarious. The Destructor robot afterward, in the commercial for Mother's Day promotion kind of thing, it said, "This originates from the heart," and then he gives her and he basically gives her a Mother's Day card with a heart shape on it, and then that's when Bender shows up with a lot of gifts that he's got from Mom, and then basically Leela wonders how everyone after seeing them wonders how he stole them, and then Bender tells them that he didn't steal the presents. Oh, this is the funny thing, he didn't steal the presents. He tells them he didn't steal the presents, he bought them. Oh my god. The reason why that's funny is because normally Bender is a robot that steals things. Like, he's a mischievous robot, so he normally steals things or vandalizes things and so on and so forth. Oh my god. So that's the Bender that they're used to. But in this case, Bender did something that they weren't used to, so they were surprised by it. And then when they hear that, they gasp, and then Bender tells them that the reason why he did it is because he loved Mom that much. And then Fry wonders how he's gonna deliver all of the presents to Mom's Friendly Robot Company. And then Bender's like, "I'll get a couple of chumps to help me," and the chumps that he gets to help him deliver the presents is actually just Leela and Fry. And then Bender gets a little annoyed with them because he's like, come on, you call yourselves chumps?" And then basically they get to the Mom's Friendly Robot Factory for Mother's Day, and they give and each of the robots basically had their own presents for Mom, and basically, which also has some money in it and stuff. And then basically Tiny Tim decides to give Mom, the creator of the owner of Mom's Friendly Robot Company, a jar full of pennies. Oh my god. And then when everyone puts their presents on the conveyor belt, what happens is when Tiny Tim puts his jar of pennies on the conveyor belt, the jar of pennies gets crushed by Bender's mega load of presents, so Tiny Tim is a little depressed about that. And after that, what happens is they're checking different segments of the robot exhibits in Mom's Friendly Robot Company, and Leela said that she finds this simulation goggle thing that similar to where it says see through the eyes of a Bender unit, so a unit like Bender basically, and then she thinks that she'll give it a shot, and then basically as it's a see through the eyes of a bending unit machine, what happens is when certain things pop up, she's told by the bending unit head said to do some stuff, and when Fry shows up, the machine tells her to pretend to be his friend and then swipe his wallet, which is funny because that's what Bender does to a lot of people from time to time. Oh my god! And since then she has been on, it's telling her to do that because it's to see through the eyes of a bending unit. Oh my god! I'm sorry. I just gotta laugh because that's a little hilarious. Oh, Anyway, getting back into what I was saying, Fry then tells Bender about this exhibit that shows Mom's favorite robot, and then basically Bender wonders who it is, and he gets mad about it at first, but then the mirror flips open to show his face. Of course, it's just a exhibit to show a mirror, of course, and the robot in the mirror, but Bender kind of takes it literally to think that he's Mom's favorite robot. And then afterward, the intercom voice thing says, the intercom voice of Mom says that she loves all her robots equally, and then the real Mom afterwards says that guilty, thinking robots make me sick to my ass. And then basically what happens is after that, she asks Walt what's the situation with all the presents, all the useless presents the robots gave her for Mother's Day, and then Walt tells her that the presents are being crushed down and sold as a hocus pocus, as a bogus cure for cancer. And when Mommy is there, she's like, false hope, I love it. And then she asks Larry how things are going with Larry how things are going with the Mother's Day gift cards that are full of money and stuff. And then basically what they're basically doing is cutting the packages open, which then allows the money to get sucked out of them. And I don't know what does with the money, and then I don't know what exactly they did with the money in the episode, because basically what happened was in the episode they sucked it through a thing, and the money was never seen again. So I'm just speculating this part. I'm just speculating on what happened with the money that was in those gift cards in the episode. Maybe they were sent to some metal factory or something like that. I'm not, again, like I said, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because it was never explained in that part what happened with that money, the money that was in those cards and stuff. And then after that, Igner basically asks her, why did she, even though the robots give her so many presents, and they must like her. And then she said that she hates Mother's Day, and then the reason why, she doesn't really give them the reason why at this point in the episode, because, but basically what she decides to put a plan in motion, and basically the plan that she puts in motion in this episode is, basically she tells, because she basically hates Mother's Day, but there's a reason why, and it's going to be explained later on in this episode. I just wanted to get that out of the way. But anyway, getting back into what I was saying earlier, after all the money and stuff is extracted and all the presents are disposed of, what happens is after that, Mom brings Walt, Larry, and Igner into her private room so that she could talk to them, and she told them, "You realize I built all my robots with antennas. Everyone thinks this is just to make them look smarter, but the antennas are really for my universal robot controller." Which is basically a mind control device for all the robots. Oh my god, I'm sorry, but that's hilarious. It's essentially a mind control device for all of the robots, sort of similar to, oh my god, it's sort of similar to what's gonna happen in the later season with Bender. I think it's in the episode where they're on the planet Spiron for a war kind of thing, and all robots basically, well actually, it actually happened. It also happened in the previous, one of the previous episodes of the season, because it was a national crisis, so all the robots had their patriotism circuits activated. So that's what it's similar for, because it's essentially a form of mind control, except it's robot mind control, so it's a technicality. Oh my god. And then basically what happens is basically, Mom basically tells the robots that it's time for her annual private get-together, with her robot children and stuff. And the funny thing about, I'm just gonna backtrack here because I'm kind of getting into a portion of the episode that's going to be very sort of plot heavy, so I'm just going to backtrack here for this one little part. Bender, before he brought all the presents and stuff before that, he also brought a greeting card, which is also technically another robot in his case, and the greeting card, basically, before he opened it, Bender said, "You greeted me." Yeah, and because he says it was on the card, and then after he opens it, and he mentions in his rhyme about pastrami, and that's when he opens the card, and then the greeting card is like, "I love my mommy." Now I'm just referencing that because that's actually gonna play a part in the ending segment of this episode, and what I mean by ending segment is with the credits, because it's gonna show up in the credits again before they go to black for the credit part. Oh my god, I'm sorry, but I just felt I had to bring that up. Anyway, after Bender leaves to go for the private get-together, basically Leela tells them to see him back at work afterward, but don't forget to tell his mommy loves her, and then basically tell her, and then Bender said that he's something better way with, and he said that it's the greeting card, and then basically, when Mom is having her private get together with all her robots, she's thanking them for coming, and then basically, she tells them that their old mother won't be around for much longer, and just once before she dies, she'd like to be supreme ruler of Earth, and so she tells them, "So rebel, my little ones, and conquer the planet." And then they're wondering what she means by that, and then she activates her universal robot controller, which causes all the robots with the antennas to turn evil, basically, or I guess in Bender's case a lot more evil than before. And then basically she tells them, "Conquer Earth, you bastards!" And then basically they repeat what she says, except instead of the "you bastards" part, she puts... They say, "Conquer Earth, us bastards!" And then basically, in the next scene, all the robots are around New York are rebelling against the people, and same thing in the case of Fry. I'm just bringing Fry's up because this is actually the first little funny thing what happens. He goes to the coffee machine robot to ask for coffee, and then the coffee machine asks him if he would like some cream, and then he says yes, and then the coffee machine says very harshly, "Out of cream." Sort of similar to how with that trees up, trees down thing back in episode 8. Oh my god, I'm sorry. And then afterward, what happens is after the second time, the coffee machine is asking him, "Would you like some coffee?" And then Fry says yes, and then basically the coffee machine's like, "Out of coffee," and then Fry wonders what he means, but then the coffee machine starts going crazy and starts telling him, "How do you like me now?" And then basically, basically what happens is, Amy's hair dryer starts to act up, which I guess because it's electronic, it technically counts as a robot as well, and then the basically the garbage disposal also acts up, and then basically what happens is Bender shows up afterward, and then basically Fry and the others are telling Bender to talk some sense into the other robots to make them work, but then Bender says that he's not going to because he's rebelling with his brother Devices, and he's and then basically, he's rebelling with his brother Devices, and then he asks Comrade Greeting Card if that's right, and then Comrade Greeting Card agrees with him, and then which is basically the greeting card that he had at the segment before he was turned evil because of Mom's universal robot controller, and then basically Bender said that from now on they'll have to do all the work while he sits and lays around, which is sort of similar to what he was doing before the universal robot controller was activated. But in this case, since it's because of the evil universal robot controller, it makes a lot more sense in this case and justified because he's sort of rebelling. Because it's natural because he's got the robot controller, which causes him to rebel along with his brother Devices, and then all the robots basically leave, and then after, well, all of the robots except for the TV at that point, and then basically after the other robots aside from the TV at the time leave, because what happens is Comrade Greeting Card is trying to get Bender to go with them because he's like, "Come, Comrade Bender, let us take to the streets." And then Bender's curious about that because he wonders if this is the peaceful, kind type of taking to the streets. And then basically Comrade Greeting Card says, "No, it's not. It's the one with destruction and violence and vandalism of property." And then basically Bender's happy about that because he's like, "Yes, in your face, Gandhi!" And then he leaves with the other robots. And then they start causing some havoc. And then afterwards it shows this scene where Mom is back in her office and she's laughing at her people at the robots causing such destruction. And then Igner basically asks her why is she making civilization collapse, and then basically she said that she tells them that she doesn't know. It's probably because Mother's Day just puts her in a bad mood. And then basically Larry wonders why that is, and then basically, what Mom tells them is that one Mother's Day 70 years ago, the only thing she ever loved walked out on her, and then basically, they're saying, she said, that's why you're so, I mean, and she slaps them, and then basically, afterwards, she tells them that she hadn't seen him and he was Italian since the day he left. But then she starts to get angry and says, "But if I ever see him again, I swear I'll jam a squirrel in him." And she throws the picture, and basically, this is the funny part, the picture is a picture of Hubert Farnsworth. So basically, what happens is because of that, Walt Igner and Larry go to the Planet Express building, but first what happens is before they get there, it shows a segment where they're working with fire, and I'm just gonna backtrack here because basically before this, what happened was after all the electronics that left, Fry tried to get people to revert back to his old times, and then basically, in order to use a can opener to, or like a knife to open a can of soup, and then and by this point he's still struggling with it, and then Leela takes the can from him at this point, and she's like, "Zoidberg!" And then Zoidberg uses his claw to cut the top half of the can off, and then Zoidberg is happy because he was helpful, and then basically, they're wondering actually, how, what's gonna happen to them if the fire goes out. Well, Amy's wondering what's gonna happen to them if the fire goes out, and then Hermes tells her that they'll go across the street to Pottery Barn and steal their fire. And then the professor basically says that he'll use his newest invention, which is basically a pointed rock tied to a stick, which is basically essentially a spear, because they're sent back into the years before the robots and machinery was able to, robots and machinery were able to do everything for them. So he had to rely on old type technology, in this case a spear. And then that's when outsiders start coming towards them, and then basically, he's like, "Outsiders!" And then Farnsworth tells them to defend the fire, and then basically Walt tells the professor that they came for him, and then the professor wonders what they want with him, and then basically Walt tells him that they need him to get back together with Mom. It's the only way for her to be happy again, and then the others are surprised by that, and Fry is especially surprised by that because he's like, wait a minute, you and Mom? And then basically the professor is like, played pelvic pinochle? I'm afraid so. And then they all get disgusted by that, and then he tells them the story about how they met in a flashback, and then during the flashback, what happens is he mentions that she was his first love, or at least the earliest he could still remember. And then, but unfortunately, 70 years ago, as of today in the episode, basically the incident that happened that broke them up was basically Farnsworth invented this cat-like doll creature called QT McWhiskers, which was basically a robotic toy that shot rainbows from its eyes, and then Mom got ecstatic about that, and then she said that they'll build the cute Whiskers doll to 8 feet tall, and replace the rainbows with a neutron laser, and they'll make billions on the arms market, and basically, but then basically the younger version of the professor gets upset about that because he's like, but things ain't be tall or cute. That's why my colossal Tammy Tinkle doll was such a failure. And then he tells Mom that he never understood, that she never understood him and that they're finished. And then basically what happens is, at the end of the flashback, Mom uses the Cutie McWhiskers doll to Rainbows to light herself a cigarette to smoke, and then basically Walt says that she never got over that, and then he tells the professor that she never got over that, and he basically does that hell have no fury like the rap of a tyrannical robot overlord scorned, which in this case was Mom, and then basically Igner says that, but if the class is Mom, Man makes up with Mom that she'll be nice and stop all the rampaging robots, and then basically Larry tells them that Mom keeps the robot controller in her bra, basically, and then well, slap some of it, and then basically, I'm just gonna backtrack to the part where Igner mentioned making up, because Farnsworth got a little upset about that because he's like, make up with her after she went on cycle when I thought everything was cool. And then basically what happens after that is, Leela remembers that they mentioned that Mom keeps the robot controller in her bra. And then Larry says that same thing again, and Walt slaps him again afterward. And then basically what happens is Leela says that because of that, Farnsworth doesn't need to get back together with Mom just to do so to get her off and use the remote to deactivate the rampaging robots. And then basically what happens is, Walt's like, the plan is so filthy, it just might work. And then Igner starts to get disgusted by it because he's like, it's going to touch Mommy. And then he gets freaked out by it. And then basically Farnsworth, after getting a little freaked out by it himself, says, the fact of caressing that leathery hide makes the tapioca wide in my gullet. And then Fry tries to basically tells him that the fate of the Earth depends on him getting to second base with Mom, and then Farnsworth is like, very well, if Copperfield I must, then Copperfield I shall. And then basically Igner starts getting a little grossed out by it. And in the next scene, Walt is doing a demonstration to show the others where the robot controller is, and he's placed one of them on front of Igner, so basically Igner is freaking out again, but not grossed out freaking out, more like just sad and depressed kind of freaking out. And the robot controller was placed in a cup of the bra, and then basically afterward, they tell him that they taken Mom to their cabin in the woods, and then basically Larry tells them that they can get there by reading this non-digitized, self-readable, non-digital handheld map. And then basically after a little bit they start to go there, and then basically what happens is when they get there, basically what happens is Walt tells them to hurry because the robots have already taken over Sussex County. And then basically after that, Farnsworth tells them that never to fear, his magic fingers still know how to do their stuff. And then basically afterward, they show up, he shows up at Mom's cabin and then knocks on the door while the others hide. And then when she opens the door and sees him, he tries to flirt with her by saying that he was running from some robots, and then they made him think of her, and then basically she gets sort of happy for seeing him, and then her and him, and then gets angry with him and tries to close the door on him, but then Farnsworth puts his foot in front of the door, which causes it to hurt, and then she's like, basically after she mentions to have him move his foot because she's annoyed that he put it in the path of it, and then basically, he gives her the flowers, which are daffodils, which are the flowers that Walt gave him to give to her, and then basically, afterwards she lets him in, and then basically what happens is after that, they start sort of romanticizing, but then after talking about, what they've been up to since Hubert left and everything, and then basically, and after, Mom mentions about, trying to tamper with that Cutie McWhiskers, and then basically, the professor says that basically, it was his fault, 10 feet, 15 feet, who didn't care, who cares, and then basically, Mom mentions about the new 16-foot model, and then the professor gets upset about that, and they start arguing again, but then that arguing turns into, romance, and then basically, what happens is, Farnsworth uses that as an opportunity to take the bra off, which has the robot controller, but as he's about to get it, he puts it away and stuff. And then basically what happens is they're worried. Leela says that they're worried because it shouldn't take this long to get to second base. And then basically what happens is that's when some land robots show up, and they run in, and then the others run inside the cabin, and they realize why it was taking so long was because they were making out. And then basically after that, what happens is Mom basically has everyone that's in the cabin look for a bra to turn the robot's evil function off before they ruin the romantic evening. And then basically Fry manages to find it, which is attached to a ceiling fan, but he tries to grab it, but the fan keeps moving up and down, and then the Fry gets annoyed, like he's like, is anything not a robot? And then one of the things says that he's not a robot, which is wrong because he is. And then Bender shows up, and then Mom basically asks Bender for help to retrieve her bra so she can deactivate the robots so they can stop the rebellion. And then Bender says that he can't because Mom ordered him to rebel, and then he starts to drink some alcohol, but Comrade Greeting Card basically tells him that liquor is bad, and that it's the source of human oppression, and then that in the new world, basically there will be no liquor, just hard central robot oil. And then basically Bender gets annoyed by that, and he says, "Dos vidania, comrade," and he rips the greeting card up, and then basically manages to get the robot controller device to turn the robots back from evil to good. And that's when the funny thing is, right when they did that was when the slur machine robot came in, and then this slur machine robot was like, first, death to all humans, but after its evil circuits were turned off because of the universal robot controller being turned off, it was like, free soda for all humans. And then basically they're all ecstatic about that, and Amy says that she tells Farnsworth he did good because the plan worked, and then Mom wonders what the plan was because he thought it was the thing, and then basically Farnsworth said that it was, but a plan to seduce him so he could retrieve the device to turn the robots up. But after he did that, he discovered much more, and he says that he loves her, and he thinks that he'll work on some kind of creature in order to immerse his love, and he says it's like some white, giant albino white shouting gorilla, and then Mom tells him to get out and that she never wants to see him again. And then basically after that, what happens is Leela's being sympathetic for the professor and telling him that he's sorry that it didn't work out with Mom, but then the professor said that he'll always love her in his own way, and then and the way the episode ends is with all those albino white shouting gorillas with their headbands on, shouting love Mom, love Mom, love Mom, love Mom, love Mom. And that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can, and I will see you guys probably sometime next week for the next video. But until then, guys, like I always tell you at this like I said, this is the second last video, so I'll probably do the last video for Season 2 sometime next week, maybe Monday. That way, Tuesday, I can start up Season 3. Watching Season 3 on Disney Plus to do for videos. I just wanted to... So I think, yeah, that's what I'll do, is I'll upload the last video for Season 2 on Monday. That way I can start watching Season 3 of Futurama on Tuesday, and hopefully be finished by Wednesday so that I can start uploading them on Thursday. But until the last video for Season 2, guys, just everyone have a nice weekend and stay safe and everything. And like I always tell you, and please give this video the real best you guys can, and like I always tell you with this series, fun on a bun!